Hello, everybody. How's everyone's evenings going? Good, awesome. Welcome to Peak Eats. Thank you for joining me in week 7. I hope you guys are excited. Robyn is back once again, and she is going to be joining us to teach us a few of her favorite recipes. So you guys are free to follow along. If you have the ingredients, you can make it as well, and you can see what she has in store for us. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to you, Robyn.
Hey, excellent. There are some people in the waiting room. I'm just going to admit them. Okay, how's everybody doing? It's been a few months since I've seen you. You guys staying warm? Luckily, it's getting better outside, but I think maybe we're on the very tail end of winter here, hopefully. Like Justin mentioned, yes, I'm back. I am ready to go, and I am here with a couple of my favorite recipes. I'm going to teach you how to put them together. I think they're wonderful because they are very healthy, and they really are applicable to honestly anybody. It doesn't matter what dietary preference or dietary pattern you follow, you are likely going to be able to enjoy these recipes because they are vegan, vegetarian, things like that. They can be made gluten-free or lactose-free if that's something you're concerned about. So really, you can tailor them to your own needs and definitely enjoy them. I tend to make these recipes almost weekly, if not weekly, because they're just that easy and they're that delicious. So I'm going to take you through first an appetizer. So that's going to be a nice salad with a homemade salad dressing. And then we're going to move into our main course, which is a pasta dish. It is going to be vegetarian, but if you do like to enjoy meat, of course, you can always just cook up some beef or some pork or chicken or meatballs or whatever you want and toss it on the plate as well. I just kind of wanted to shy away from that a little bit, just so I really could cater to everybody's preferences. And also cooking with meat, it can be a little difficult, a little finicky. So I wanted to kind of get that, off the plate, pun intended. And then lastly, we're going to move into a really healthy, I would call dessert, but honestly, I typically eat it as a snack during the week because it's just really delicious. But there is chocolate involved. So if you want to classify it as a dessert, we can definitely do that as well. Okay, so are there any questions before we get started? I don't know if you guys are going to be following along with me or just watching and taking notes, but I believe Justin did send out an ingredient list, and I can write out more detailed explanations on how to actually put the steps to put these recipes together. I'm more than happy to do that and send it to Justin to send out to you guys afterwards. So if you are interested in that, I am more than happy to do that afterwards. Okay, so we are going to get started. I'm in my kitchen. I have my apron on. I'm ready to go. So what do you guys think is the first step before touching food, preparing food? What should we always do? You can either maybe write in the chat. What do you guys think? I see some people doing this. Yes, we should wash our hands. We should always wash our hands before we touch food or prepare food, simply because we don't really know what's going on those hands, right? There's lots of germs and bacteria, and of course, we don't want it to be transferring onto the foods that we're about to put into our mouths. So I already washed my hands before this, so I'm not going to go off camera and pretend to wash my hands because I already have. So I just wanted to put it out there, always wash your hands prior to preparing food, but of course, you all know that already. So I'm going to try and angle my camera, and because I am on my laptop, I am going to angle it slightly downwards. So if I'm out of the picture, don't worry about it. As long as you can see what I'm doing, I think that's what really matters. So I am going to move you closer because you are actually on a separate table. As a matter of fact, you're on my dog's grooming table. So let's try and angle this down. Okay, I hope you guys can see everything. So I've laid out the ingredients here. So we're gonna start with the salad, but because we're making pasta, we need our water to boil. So I'm actually going to get the water boiling as I prepare the homemade dressing and things like that. So I'm going out of the picture. Hopefully you can still hear me. I do have my headset on. But anyway, I just have a small pot of water. I started to boil it. It hasn't fully boiled, so I'm putting it back on the burner and turning it on. Okay, so while that's we're waiting for the water to boil. Oh, quick tip: if you are very impatient like me, waiting for water to boil, a really great kind of shortcut, if you will, is to boil the water in your kettle and then pour it into your pot, and it's almost fully boiled already. So if your stove is slow like mine can be, that's actually a really great tip, just to kind of get that process sped up a little bit. Okay, so for our salad, of course you can put whatever you want in the bowl, but I just went ahead and prepared my salad of choice, which is simply plain old lettuce, spinach, and cucumbers. To be honest, that's about all I had in my fridge. So I just kind of threw in the pot. But I also would love to add carrots or tomatoes or olives or anything really that you like in a salad. You're more than welcome to put in here. Of course, we want to wash our produce before preparing it and cutting it and eating it. And even if it says pre-washed on the bag or box, you really should still be washing it again. Things can happen in transportation. They might just be saying that. They might not actually preparing it beforehand, the manufacturer. So you really do want to always wash your produce twice, if you will. There's no need for, special washes or anything like that. Just plain old water, give it a good scrub with your clean hands, and you should be good to go. So that's what I've done. I washed all my produce, I prepared it, I've cut my cucumber, it's in my bowl. And so now I'm going to go ahead and start making the dressing. And I love this dressing because I find pre-made dressings can sometimes be overbearing on the palate, and they can almost taste like really sour or really salty if you're kind of sensitive to those tastes. And so this is a really great way to make sure that A, you know what's going in there, you know all the ingredients, and B, you can really tweak it to what your taste preferences are. So I just laid out my ingredients here. So what you need is you're going to need some type of oil, and I'm just using 100% canola oil. You could use avocado oil, you could use olive oil, really any kind of oil that you want. I just prefer the good old canola oil. And then you're going to need just some plain old vinegar. And I also love this recipe because a lot of these ingredients you have in your pantry, they're staples, and you buy them in big jugs and they last a long time, so you can make these recipes over and over and over again. And the next ingredient you're going to need is butter or margarine, and I throw it, that's what I do. But I actually used this one by Bissell, and it's a vegan one. So again, this is a really great product because it can meet whatever your needs are. If you're lactose free, if you are vegetarian, if you're vegan, anybody could eat this, right? So it is a great option. I know people are very concerned potentially about margarine versus butter, but to be quite honest, not much goes into the recipes. So, and if you're eating it in moderation, like I say, it's really a good choice. And then you're going to need your spices. So of course we need our salt and pepper and our choices of seasoning. And today I picked out garlic powder, which always goes in this recipe. And I typically have oregano, but I actually am out at the moment. So instead I just got some parsley. And they're not critical ingredients, but I would say they really do help to, well, again, pun intended, spice up the recipe. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So with this, you're going to want a liquid measuring cup, preferably glass, because it is going to have to go into the microwave. So you really want to make sure that whatever you're putting your dressing into is microwave safe. So the first thing you want to do is you want to scoop out about a tablespoon, or a heaping tablespoon, if you will, of your butter. And honestly, I don't measure it. I just kind of eyeball it. So I just take my spatula, I scoop out a little bit. I would say that's pretty good. And it goes into our measuring cup. Now I am going to have to go off camera for just a very brief moment because you need to microwave it in order to get it melted into a liquid state. So I am going to be right back. This great thing about this is it melts very, very quickly. It's already melted. It was only in the microwave for about 12 seconds. And then just going to mix it a little bit up, a little bit more. And then what we're going to do is start putting in the oil and the vinegar. So I actually have this recipe printed out. It is from a family friend, so I always forget the measurements, so I always follow along. So what you're going to do is, after you have the butter in there, you're going to take your vegetable oil and you're going to add it to the measuring cup until it measures to half a cup. So as you can see on here, it does have the measurements laid out. So I'm going to pour in the oil until it meets that half cup point. Can you guys see me? Yes, okay, good. And I know it looks like a lot of oil, and it is, but again, you're not going to eat this or put this entire dressing on your salad, right? This will last you 4 or 5 salads. So it does look like a lot, but it's going to last you quite some time. Maybe through the week if you're having lunch every day, or sorry, salad for lunch every day or with your dinner. And then we're going to give that a nice mix. Okay. And last is our vinegar. And we're going to pour this until, oh, sorry, it just says add a 1/4 cup. So I'm at half a cup. So 1/4 cup is 3/4 of a cup. You might want to do this in a separate measuring cup and then pour it in case you go a little bit overboard. But well, I'll take my chances today. Okay. So when you're finished, you're going to have 3/4 cups of your dressing, and I'm going to give it a quick stir. Because we all know oil and vinegar, they don't like each other, but they should. But they're like peanut butter and jelly. They go very, very well together. Okay, so now is the fun part where you can really tailor it to what you like. So I'm going to add my spices, my salt and pepper. And again, I don't measure these. Let's just do maybe 6 twists of salt. And I do like my pepper, so maybe 10 twists. And for my spices, I got my garlic powder and I have my oregano. For garlic powder, I think I'll do a 1/4 teaspoon. Generally, I would say start with a 1/4 teaspoon of spice, taste it, and then go back if you find you need more flavoring. And after each spice added, you do want to stir this because a solid powder is going into a liquid, so it's going to clump together. So you want to make sure you're stirring it. Or I've actually made this in a shaker bottle. You guys know what a shaker bottle is, right? The plastic bottle with the little metal shaker ball, if you will. And it's actually a really great technique to use because that metal ball is actually going to really combine the ingredients nicely. So, and it's spill proof and it's great. Okay, so I like my parsley, so I'm going to go ahead and have half a teaspoon. That was quite a heaping half teaspoon, so it's probably 2 teaspoons. And again, mixing it in. And honestly, that is it. I know it took me over 10 minutes to make this, but if you're on your own, it comes together in a matter of minutes. And that's all you have to do. You can either directly pour it or you can scoop it out onto your salad. And when you are finished with it, you're going to want to cover it with either plastic wrap, think something like a beeswax wrap if you have those, or you can put it straight into a container with a lid. I will say that you do want to put it in the fridge, of course, but when you come back to it the next day, it might harden a little bit because of the margarine or the butter that's in there. It's gonna want to become solid again. So when you come back to it the next day, take it out and you're just gonna want to microwave it for 10 seconds and mix it up so it becomes totally liquid again. I am just gonna take a quick peek at the chat in case people have questions. Wash your hands. Yep. Okay, good. Yeah, thanks, Justin, for putting the ingredients in there. Pasta, tomato sauce, and tons of veggies, vinegar. Yeah, that sounds really good. Stir fry with chicken. Yeah, that's a great idea if you are wanting some protein. I myself, I'm not vegan or vegetarian, but of course, today I just wanted to make sure that I can cater to all of your guys' needs. Taco or taco salad. Yes. Okay. So honestly, very easy. I mean, thumbs up. Do you think that's pretty easy? We can all do that and we can all make our own salad dressing. There's no need to go and spend $6, $7 on a bottle that's honestly, it's full of preservatives, it's full of fat, it's full of salt. Some ingredients we probably can't even pronounce. And so with this, 5 ingredients, very, very easy. Okay, I am vegan. Yeah, exactly. So if you are vegan, again, this is a great recipe. A lot of salad dressings at the store do have what's called modified milk ingredients, and essentially that just means like it's a powdered, a milk in powdered form. And so you might not actually realize that until you turn the bottle over and look through the ingredients. So that is something to be aware of. Okay, so I'm actually going to put my pasta into my pot. You can use any type of pasta you like. Today I chose, honestly, I don't even know what this is called, but little spiral guys. And I'm just gonna pop, if you know what these are called, let me know in the chat. But honestly, my pot's boiling, so I'm just gonna pop these in and get them cooking. Now, while I'm doing this, you guys in the chat, tell me what kind of pasta is your favorite? You guys like bow tie pasta, spaghetti, whole wheat pasta? What do you guys like? Let me know. I feel like, I don't know, I'm not picky when it comes to pasta. I love it all. And I just use the same spatula that I mixed up my salad dressing in to stir my pot. You might want to not do that and get a different one. But I didn't have another one. Okay, what do you guys say? Penne, I love penne. Fusilli. Oh, I think that actually might be what this is. Rotini, sorry, I'm not Italian. I'm gonna butcher all of these. Tortellini, love tortellini. Spaghetti or bow ties, penne, spaghetti. Yummy. That all sounds so wonderful. Okay, so now that that's in, we've made our dressing, we made our salad, our appetizer is boom, done, ready to go. And bonus, we have dressing for the rest of the week or a few extra days. Just gonna try and shove this out of the way. And I'm actually gonna have to turn you guys because we are moving to the stove. Okay, hopefully you guys can see my stove. There's someone in the waiting room, so I'm gonna admit them. Okay, welcome to the stove.
Sorry, Robyn, you accidentally muted. You have to unmute on the computer.
Wow, sorry guys, I don't know what happened. Anyway, hopefully you can see my stove. I got my pasta boiling back here. I did turn it down because I don't want it to boil over, but you still want to keep it to a slight boil. Maybe I can turn my light on. Does that help? Maybe, maybe not actually. It's quite glary. Never mind. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the sauce. And again, minimal ingredients. You probably already have all of them in your pantry. It can meet the needs of anybody out there. And it's delicious. And of course, you make a big batch, so you can have some. You can freeze it. It freezes very well. So all around, it's a really great recipe. 3 ingredients. Super duper easy. I'm not a chef. I'm not claiming to be a chef, so I like minimal, easy recipes. And of course, we're all busy, right? We don't have time to cook. Nobody's got time for that. Okay, so the 3 ingredients, again, your butter or margarine. Again, I'm using the vegan stuff because I don't know, I prefer the taste over dairy. The second ingredient, you're gonna want a big can of diced tomatoes. I get these from Costco. They come in maybe a 12-pack. I stock up every time I go just for this recipe. Yeah, that's really all. I think the only ingredient is organic tomatoes. So there you go. And you're going to need an onion, any type of onion. I just have a white onion today. You can use yellow, maybe not red, to be honest, for this one, but I would say red, yellow. No, not red, sorry, white or yellow would be great. So tablespoon or so of your butter, margarine, whatever it is. Okay, put it right in your pan. You need a pan for this. You don't want to be doing it in a pot, simply because you want it to be marinating and bubbling away for, well, it depends how quickly or how hungry you are, but typically you want to let this sit for about 45 minutes. Of course, we're not going to do that tonight, but if you are cooking at home, the longer the better, simply because the flavors can mesh a little bit more, and the flavor from the onion is really going to come out, I guess, the longer it sits and in the pan. So, but I've made this and I've put it in the pan for 10 minutes and it's still delicious. So whatever works. So I went ahead, I washed my onion, I took off the outer layer, and honestly, all I'm doing is chopping it in half. Easy peasy. You honestly only need 1/2 for this recipe, but I love onion, I love the flavor, so I put 2. So we're gonna turn on our stove. I have a gas stove and it honestly scares me so much. I wish I had induction, but I do not. Where's my spatula? Okay, you're gonna melt the butter. Voila. Then our onion half, you want to put it face down because this is quite, it's fresh and juicy. So we want the more surface area of the onion. It's going straight into the pan. And then we're going to open our can of tomatoes, and we're going to dump it in. And that's it. That's all you have to do. 3 ingredients into a pan, leave it for 45 to an hour. Yummy. You got some delicious sauce. Okay. So when you dump the tomatoes in, you will notice, you probably can't see it from this angle, but the butter does it doesn't chunk up, but it kind of becomes lumpy, if you will. So you do want to give it a quick stir to really blend it well into the tomatoes. And then you are done. That is it. You could add some extra salt if you want, simply because there's none added at the moment for some extra flavor, but I tend not to do that. You want to cover it, a little bit of airflow. And again, that's it. You want to leave it on low. You can walk away. Easy peasy. Come back when your pasta is ready and you're good to go. And so I think my pasta is still cooking. It doesn't look quite done. But honestly, it's very easy. Do we think this looks good or something you would maybe want to try? Again, it's a great option or alternative, I would say, to a store-bought pasta sauce. Again, you might not look at all the ingredients. There are definitely some great brands out there that do have minimal ingredients without added sugar or things like that. But at the end of the day, they're going to probably have to put some sort of preservative in there to keep the shelf life. So again, it's a great option. Ren, my brother is a chef. Wow, you are so lucky. Whole wheat pasta or spaghetti, yummy. Thai Express. I love Thai Express too. Okay, so you guys, that's it for this. I'm going to move you back over. I'm going to move my dog's grooming table back over. And we're going to start on dessert or snack, whatever you really want. You can decide for yourself. Let me just clean up briefly here. And this is also a really great meal option if you're having company over, because you can make a big pot of pasta, you can make a big pot of the sauce. If you need to double the recipe, so for the amount of sauce, you can totally do that. And I think it's just such a crowd pleaser. I've never met someone who doesn't like pasta. So it's a very safe bet. And like I said earlier, it meets all dietary preferences or requirements for people. So it's a great option. Okay, I'm just gonna have to put you down for a second. I gotta get a new cutting board. Okay, so for this recipe, again, 3 ingredients, super easy. You need some type of fruit. I think for this recipe, the best are either apples or bananas. And today I have an apple. You need some type of peanut butter. This is my all-time favorite peanut butter. Is it the best for you? No, but it's the best tasting. And you need some chocolate chips. Again, if you are dairy-free, vegan, you can always buy dairy-free chocolate chips. I know, what's the brand? Best Life, Good Life? No, something like that. They make a really, really wonderful chocolate chip that is dairy-free. And that's all you need. So I have 1 apple. I'm going to use, this is about 2 tablespoons or so of chocolate chips, or about 1/8 of a cup. And I'm going to use about 1 to 2 tablespoons. This is a pretty small apple, so I'll probably only use about one tablespoon. And then I see a comment from Ren, fruit for dessert. Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful option. It's sweet. You get your fiber, you get your micronutrients from it. So it is a really wonderful option for dessert. So you can totally skip out on making the peanut butter chocolate Reese sauce and just go with the apple. But I have such a sweet tooth that I really love the sauce. So what you're gonna do is just gonna melt the peanut butter and the chocolate chips together in the microwave, stir it up. It becomes a very, well, it's almost like fondue. You guys ever had fondue? And you got the melted chocolate and your skewers and you're dipping the fruit in the chocolate. It's essentially like that, but you don't have to have the fondue pot and the fondue skewers and the candle and all that stuff. So very, very easy. Again, I am going to have to go off camera for this, but for the time being, I will grab something. Okay, so don't use this. I wasn't prepared again, so I'm just grab what I had near me. But I'm going to scoop out, I would say that's about a tablespoon of my peanut butter. And you can use any type of peanut butter or even any type of nut butter for that matter. If you like almond butter, if you like all natural peanut butter, whatever your preference is. And I'm going to put in the chocolate chips. Okay, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to microwave it. So I will be right back again. This takes slightly longer than, let's say, butter, because of course the chocolate chips are quite solid. So you gotta maybe do anywhere between 25 to 30 seconds, I would say. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I have a nice melted chocolate concoction here, and I call this Reese. Reese dip because it's like a melted Reese's Pieces bar. No, peanut butter cup. Sorry, peanut butter cup. So I'm gonna let that sit. I'm gonna cut out my apple or whatever fruit you have. I've washed it, of course, and I can hear my sauce bubbling away. So I'm gonna turn it down to a nice simmer. Okay. Of course, please be careful when using a knife. Definitely cut myself too many times. And I will say you do want to eat this pretty quickly because it will start to solidify. I mean, it won't solidify for, let's say, an hour or so, but it will start to become hard again. So I wouldn't make it, let's say, at 10 in the morning and then expect to eat it at 12:30 with your lunch. You might have to re-melt it, but anyway. And that is it. I mean, truly, that's honestly all it is. You dip it in, you eat it. It's delicious. Again, I like to eat it as a snack, typically in the afternoon, but you can always have it as a dessert and or whatever you want. So I know that's hasn't been an hour quite yet, but we can always do a Q&A if you guys have any questions for me about the recipe or nutrition in general. I'm more than happy to stay until 8 o'clock if you guys have questions. You can either raise your hand, and I think maybe Justin can facilitate that, or feel free to type them in the chat and I can always read them.
Awesome. So yeah, if anyone has questions about today's recipes, you can put your hand up and we can unmute you. Lori Cornwell, you can unmute.
All right. Okay. Your recipes are making me want to eat them.
I'm glad.
And also, I got to say thank you to the Peak program for finally making me a cartoon. And it's true what I said, because no matter where you go, we are all dedicated, and we are also brave, but there will be some competitions, but you got to try and just block them out and beat them. Also, that recipe made me want to eat it right now. I want to eat my phone.
Well, I can tell you, it smells very delicious in my house right now.
Oh man.
Leonka, you can unmute.
I do that same dip, but I add coconut.
Yes, I saw your comment in the chat, and I think that's such a wonderful idea. Another idea that I have done is you could take, let's say, your banana, you chop it up in your little circles, and you can dip it into this dip sure, coat it in the dip, and you can actually pop it in the freezer and it becomes really, really delicious. Or you can put it on like strawberries and leave them so that they become chocolate covered strawberries, things like that. But yes, I do love your idea with coconut. I think that would be delicious. I think you could add anything like sprinkles, let's say chopped peanuts, really anything. You could have a lot of fun with it. But yes, Leonka, I love that idea. I'm going to try it myself.
You. And I think I'm going to try your idea with the bananas.
Yeah, I hope you do. I mean, I haven't tried it yet, but I think it would work, and I think it'll be really delicious.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
thank you for doing this.
Kim, you can unmute.
Hi. So I was wondering if you have any more like dessert or snack recipes.
Yeah, that's a great question, Kim. Yeah, that's a great question. And I have to admit, my eating habits have not been the best right now. I'm in the process of finishing up my degree. So I really have been struggling to eat, let's say, healthy. So I come down to the kitchen, I shove whatever I can into my mouth, and I go back upstairs to work. Not the best. I do not recommend. recommend taking the time to make your meals, meal prep, have snacks ready to go. So for me, thinking not in this state that I'm currently in, but other snacks that I love to have are quite simple. So I love yogurt, and I really like to take the Activia individual packets, and I actually freeze them. And so when you freeze them, they come very, I guess like frozen yogurt. And you take a spoon. It's really a really wonderful way. It feels like you're eating ice cream. So that's a really great idea if you like yogurt. If you like salty or savory, I really like crackers and cheese. Again, it's very plain, if you will, but it really is great if you have like a more fiber type cracker to really fill you up, and some cheeses. Of course, you can get some protein and some healthy fats from there. I love smoked salmon. If you guys like smoked salmon, you can make some crackers, spread a little bit of cream cheese on there, put some smoked salmon, onion. It's really, really wonderful. I'm sorry, Laura, that I'm making you hungry. My mouth is actually, yeah, I'm salivating too. So what else? Any type of fruit. I mean, I love fruit. I really gravitate towards fruit a lot throughout the day, just to quickly, slice it up and eat it. I think it's a wonderful way to get not only food in, but you're getting the fiber along with it, right? Fiber is such an important part of our health and our diet, and of course, unfortunately, not a lot of us are not getting enough. So another snack, I would say, I'll maybe give you two more. I love cereal. I'm not a super sugary cereal person. Like I love like all brand buds and shreddies. I feel like I'm like an 85-year-old woman at heart, but I really do love like those hearty, grainy cereals. So I'll have a bowl of cereal for a snack with a glass of milk. So I'm getting my protein and my calcium and dairy as well. Another great snack is if you like hummus, you can always make homemade hummus. It's very, very easy to do. All you need is chickpeas, so some canned chickpeas, or you can actually cook the chickpeas yourself. You open up the can, you pour them into a colander. You want to rinse it off. You want to get rid of that the water that they're packed in, and then you just shove it into, if you have a food processor or a blender, put it in there with a little bit of olive oil, some spices, salt and pepper, and whip it up, and you have yourself homemade hummus. And you can dip crackers into it, pretzels into it, vegetables into it, whatever you want. You can put on top of your salad. So it's a really great option if you do like hummus. I love hummus. It's a great source of fiber, protein, etc. But again, if you go to the store and you're looking at those ingredients closely, you might not, there's some questionable ingredients, right? But if you make it at home, it's such a great alternative. So I would say those would be some really great snack options.
Awesome, thanks. Akira, you can unmute.
What I do if you like, I can't really have tomato or onion. So what can I do for an alternate?
For the pasta sauce?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's quite, what can you do for an alternative? To be honest with you, Akira, I have not made another type of homemade sauce simply because I just, I always have the tomatoes on hand and things like that. So I guess an alternative is you could look into making a Alfredo based sauce or even a pesto based sauce. There's tons of recipes out there. Maybe you guys have Pinterest. There's so many recipes. Even just Google a homemade Alfredo sauce. There'll be hundreds, if not thousands, of recipes that quickly pop up. So you can, scroll through those, make them, and you can even make them vegan. So Alfredo sauce is milk based, cream based. And if you are sensitive or lactose intolerant or vegan or whatever it may be, you can make an alternative, typically with cashews. I have not tried it myself, but I've seen people make it, and it looks delicious, and they say it tastes great. So I think that would be probably a safe alternative for you if you're unable to have tomatoes or onion.
Because of my acid reflux.
Yeah, I hear ya. My partner's the same way. He's He gets really bad heartburn. So yeah, he usually sticks with the store-bought Alfredo sauce. That's his favorite.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Akira.
I do see a comment. It was directly to me, and it was asking for the homemade hummus recipe. So
I did it, Rose.
I'm more than happy to type it in the chat to everybody. But again, you can just, of course, look it up. But I would say you want chickpeas. I use canned. I'll just say rinsed. And then you're going to want to blend it with some sort of oil. I would say the best one is probably olive oil. It's the classic. And then whatever you want. I'm going to say salt and pepper. I would do probably a little bit of onion powder. And then I'll probably sprinkle paprika on top.
Perfect. Okay, Danielle, you can unmute.
Hello. I ended up having to go. My mom told me, so I didn't see the finished dessert. But one question is, I am gluten-free, so could I just leave the chocolate chips out of the dessert and put like maybe some like bananas or something with the peanut butter instead of the chocolate chips?
Yeah, I think, yeah, exactly. If you are gluten-free or have any sensitivities to any of the ingredients, yes, definitely take them out. And you could even just scoop the peanut butter onto the apple or the banana or whatever type of fruit you like, or you can melt the peanut butter and it becomes really delicious, and you can just dip it as is. And then you can find something else that works for you. You know what I mean? Like Leonka said, I think it was Leonka, she said coconut. So, you know, take your peanut butter, your coconut, dip it, have that can be your dip for your fruit.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely there's alternatives out there that you can tweak to make sure you are.
I liked your coconut idea. I just can't eat chocolate, not very often. I can have it once in a while, but my doctor's told me just not every time.
Yeah. I should follow that rule as well.
Yeah. Thank you. And what did the dessert look like? I didn't see.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yes. So maybe not the most appetizing over Zoom, but it smells just like a Reese's peanut butter cup. It's just the melted chocolate and the peanut butter, and I got my apple to dip it.
Yeah. Because I said I might try that as my treat this weekend.
Yeah.
My doctor said I can have chocolate once in a while. I just have to try to stick to the gluten-free stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Danielle. Kaylee, you can unmute.
I have a good snack I always like from home is like a platter, like crackers and cheese and piece of meat. I always have on the side. I always have fruit with it, like butter chips. This is my sister right here.
Hello.
Hi.
This is her first time with us.
Welcome. We're so happy you're here.
And what I always have crackers and meat. Sometimes I pick fruit, more like grapes. It's always good go with something else out of just crackers and cheese all the time. If you could add like a fruit or something on the side.
Yeah, I love that, Kaylee. I love that. I do the same thing. I like snacks where I can kind of pick. Yeah. I'm a grazer, like a grazer. You want to pick away. So yeah, that's a really wonderful idea. Kind of the charcuterie board plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really great idea. And are you and your sister twins?
Yes. This is Trisha, my sister.
Hello.
Hey.
Yes, I was gonna say you look identical.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Thank you, Kaylee. We will do two more. So Jordan, you can unmute.
Okay, so a couple of questions. Two of them. Abby and I have a question for you. So if you can unmute Abby, she can ask a question as well, which is my friend. And I just have a question about the onions. So I overheard if you cook your onion in a pan, I suggest you run it under cold water, so your eyes won't be irritated by them and with tears. So that's a really good tip.
Mm-hmm.
But with sports programs, if you don't have time to cook a big meal, can I do like a quick fast meal, or to take it on the way to any of the sports programs?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I do appreciate your comment about the onions because my eyeballs are so sensitive and I always cry. So yes, great tip. I've actually like gone to the point where I bought like onion goggles. It's pathetic, but I need it. It's sad. Anyway, yeah, great point about the onion. For the quick meals, this is actually a meal in itself, because if you cook a big bunch of the pasta and things like that, you could always put it into a container, keep it in the fridge, grab it. If you come home from wherever you are and you only have a few minutes to quickly change and grab something to eat before heading out for training or competitions or whatever it may be, you could always grab the container of the pasta, pop it in the microwave for 2 minutes, and take it with you. Or you can keep it in such like a thermos type of container. But if you don't want to have that extra step of having to heat something up, I think my go-to was always a sandwich. And it sounds really, really boring, but I used to be quite a competitive athlete, and that was always my go-to. Like it's so boring, but you can really spice it up and you can take it beyond just the typical, bologna sandwich. You can go on Pinterest, you can look at different recipes and how they, really make a boring old sandwich something that's really enjoyable. So something like, if you are trying to switch up your proteins, you can make tempeh or tofu. You can fry it up. You can put it on your sandwich. You can add spinach or lettuce, whatever you want, some little barbecue sauce or some homemade like teriyaki sauce. Slap it in between two pieces of bread or a bun or things like that. I think that's a really great way to kind of amp up a sandwich. On the side, you can always have your fruit, some quick veggies, glass of milk, things like that. So I think, like I said, a sandwich is the go-to, but whatever you are grabbing, you want to make sure that it's high carbohydrate and low-ish fat, low-ish protein, especially before you are exercising. You really want to be ensuring you're eating carbs rather than protein and fat. But afterwards, you also want to make sure that you are grabbing food to refuel your body with the carbohydrates and your proteins. So
Yeah.
I would say a sandwich. I love sandwiches.
Yes. Do have one last question. Abby had my friend, she had texted me and she has a question for you. Yeah, so I just want to
Okay, Abby, you can unmute.
Hi, I'm Abby. I have one question for you. I really like the dessert you made. It's really good, actually, with chocolate chips in it. That's really good.
Have you tried something like that before, Abby?
I never had it before, but I like peanut butter, and I do like chocolate chips.
There you go. I think it's a win-win. You should try it even tonight.
Can I try it with some grapes and some bananas?
Absolutely. I think the most wonderful part of this recipe is you can have it with whatever type of fruit that you like. My favorites are strawberries, bananas, and apples. But if you grapes, melon, even whatever you want, whatever you like best. Yeah, definitely.
Because I have lots of recipes. I love to cook, and it's my favorite. My favorite hobbies.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Abby. And for the last question, Ren, you can unmute.
Hello.
Hello, Ren.
Hello. I did put on the chat My brother is a chef in my family.
Yes, lucky duck.
Yes, I've been cooking a lot. My mom is a baker in my parents' house. Yeah, my mom cooks a lot. She does banana bread and granola and cookies. She always makes, and yeah, it has all type of food. And I cook also. I did foods and sciences when I was in high school. So it's what you said before on the onion kind of thing, and with the pasta and the chocolate and the peanut butter thing. And it's called the Reese's Pieces, and it's one of my favorite desserts all time. And I like to use peanut butter because it's on Kraft. I really like it with apples and bananas and something like that. So I like that like in the mornings and add some egg on the side.
Oh yeah, that sounds wonderful. And I like that you added egg for protein.
Yeah, so it's really good idea to add some like one slice of bread and just easy on the weight a little bit and controlling the butter and salt because it has full of cholesterol. So that's I'm trying to control that and the fats too.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Thanks, Ren.
I think Carla did have her hand up earlier, so I'm happy to take one last
okay.
question.
I see your hand waving now.
Hi, Robyn.
How are you, Carla?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you again. My question is, I really like how you make the chocolate chip dip thing to dip fruit. Can I possibly use can I use like an orange to dip it in?
Oh yeah, of course. I think an orange would actually be really, really tasty. I like, whatever fruit you like, I think go for it, just try it out. If you end up, it's not maybe the orange is too citrusy for the chocolate, then right? And you can try something else. But yeah, I mean, go for it. Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Carla. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Robyn. I hope everyone got to learn something and have a few new recipes they want to try. If you guys do try any of the recipes, make sure you share with the Peak Facebook group. You can post on Facebook. You can send me an email. I'd love to know what you guys thought and how easy you found it. So once again, thank you, Robyn. I hope you have a fantastic evening. Once again, Wood Buffalo is the password. So make sure you guys take that down, Wood Buffalo. It will be on the YouTube tomorrow as well. But have a fantastic evening. We will see you next week. Carla, I do have your Peak Buff. It will be mailed out this week. So everyone should be sent by Friday. I hope you're excited. And we will see you on Monday. Have a fantastic evening, everyone.